unbundled. Show it as unbundled. That's important. That's why I said unbundled.
नहीं किया तो composite में
Unbundle तो करना ही है. Unbundle करेंगे इसीलिए invoice in a invoice तभी formulation पूछी.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the next question is two restaurants in the same hotel, one with air condition, the other without air condition, and no liquor service. What will the GST applicable be in these two restaurants?
Sir.
Yeah, this question has been raised in different ways. Right now, air condition, unair condition, both the conditions are covered under one entry under 9963. If you see the tariff under notification 11/2017. So it will not be distinguished as a, if it is a combined, then the rate is prescribed, that rate will prevail. What was the second part of the question?
So it's an
Yeah, I'll tell you. So the thing is that the underlying thing is if you are serving alcohol, which he says we are not serving, it would be in any case at 18%, whatever it is that you are doing. But if it is air conditioned without alcohol, it will be 18%. If it is non-air conditioned without alcohol, it will be 12%. Whatever, you may have 3 restaurants in your hotel, but the restaurants are very clearly classified and they are separate from the hotel. So इसमें कोई तकलीफ नहीं है, आपका non-AC 12% पे जाएगा if you are not serving alcohol.
Any
Is
part
it
of the
clear?
premises, sir, whether that interpretation, any part of the premises will play anything.
अब ये क्वेश्चन आएगा कि इन रूम डाइनिंग अगर आपने की तो आप तो एयर कंडीशन में थे ना, पर आप स्विमिंग पूल में थे. ऑल्सो आपका बिल कहाँ से कट रहा है? Which restaurant are you cutting it from? These things will come in when the auditor comes. So be careful of your accounting. That's all. I mean,
See, GST entry, I'm sorry ma'am, GST entry for the restaurants, even if some part is non-air conditioned, 18% rate is very, very clear. I don't think there is any doubt about that. So far as inclusion of the value attributable to the alcoholic drinks is concerned, you have to mention it separately. You have to have abundant caution in doing so. Don't put it in the total value, because there is a view that since alcohol you will be subjected to some other levy at the state level, it will not form the value of taxable service under the supplies provided as a hotel industry. Any doubt?
That bill has to be separate from that whatever GST bill you are preparing. Alcohol bill will always be separate than that.
and yet there is a nuanced point which I have also flagged, that what about the service charge on the alcohol? That is still there. It's still hanging in the air, believe me, because it is being interpreted differently. So I have flagged it. My formulation is that I think service charge is to be charged, but law committee has to clarify.
Yes, yes ma'am, it has to be checked.
So the Metrology Act is giving you another whammy on that, because you have to do it on MRP. That is a separate issue that you have to deal with, right? Beverages, cess on beverages. And yeah, Naren, would you like to add?
Yes. See, this happens quite often, that alcoholic drink goes with the non-alcoholic drink. But exemption, so far as value part is concerned, is given only to alcoholic drinks. So whatever a non-alcoholic is going, you have to charge separately. Separately, and it will be GST-able.
That will be
Absolutely. What is exempted is very, very clear.
whatever.
Except that everything else will be subjected to GST.
Whatever that accomplishment are served, whether you called it chakna, namkeen, or something, it has to be charged at that restaurant rate. Restaurant rate.
Okay, the next question. Okay, the next question is, if a restaurant has 80 lakhs of sales, 40 lakhs are towards food and 40 lakhs is towards liquor, can this restaurant opt for composite scheme, because the VAT on the 40 lakhs is already paid? So we are not counting that 40 lakhs. The other 40 lakhs remain, which is, can we take composite scheme on that 40 lakhs? No. Okay.
The formulation is clear. The law is clear on that. What constitutes, I think I've written it down. So also I want you to also look at these flyers which are being prepared with a great deal of effort. If you go to the GST Council website and you go to GST Help and you click it and you come to e-flyers, on every issue they're taking out, this book is a bit dull. Nobody can really read it. and some interpretations are being given. Some excellent flyers, e-flyers, have been published on the GST Council website, and it will be a very good read for generally, जैसे आपने पूछा ना कि turnover, you got actually composition scheme का अभी तक flyer नहीं बना है, but there is an FAQ on composition which came out, which clearly says how you will calculate the aggregate turnover. And except for the reverse charge issues and the state taxes and the central taxes and cess, everything else has to be calculated in your aggregate turnover.
Only thing that turnover for composition they have not defined. Turnover, aggregate turnover they have defined. That's why this question is coming.
Okay. Does a complimentary room or a complimentary lunch attract GST if it's served two parts, served to an outsider and if it's served to an employee?
Shall I? So this question, does complimentary room, complimentary lunch in a hotel restaurant attract GST? See, I invite your attention to, again, valuation section 15.1, read with valuation rules, rule 27 of the central GST rules. Idea is very clear, even if you don't charge something, value paid or payable will be a matter for charging the GST. So even if something complimentary given, if the market value is available, like goods or like services or both offered at the same time, if that particular value is available, then even if it is complimentary with no income to the hotel for particular event, you have to suffer GST on that. Your attention is invited to 15.1 valuation section. You read first and then raise the doubt.
But sir, for employee also.
For employee,
No employee.
Employee, but we have to account for that. See, my auditors will come down the line after 2-3 years and they will ask you the proof. On what basis you are saying that it is given to the employee? So you have to make an entry. That should be self-speaking document should be there. Okay?
And for providing employee, one thing please remember, it has to be part of contractual obligation. That is the word they have used there. So wherever you plan your that appointment letter, etc., in that there should be a clause for that. Otherwise, some problem may arise later on.
I want
No.
sorry, I didn't get either.
Please.
No, that is part of your means duties now. So there is no difficulty.
No, it's contractual obligation.
Yes.
You know, I have a lady staff who's become late, so we have to provide.
He stays back.
She stays back, right? Things like that. No, it's just because the situation demands that. So I want to go ahead and elaborate on this issue further. Now, what if this complimentary lunch or this complimentary room is for furthering your business with a business associate, say? So we have a situation where somebody comes to the hotel and says, okay, I want to have a off-site here. I would like to come and stay in your hotel and to determine whether I would like to have an off-site here. So it's really a marketing expense for us. So when the person comes there, we say, okay, you can stay here free of charge. What happens then? It's because it's to further business.
Well, everything gets caught in that particular GST formulation, which says there's ought to be a money value to everything that you do, every transaction. So you'll have to put a money value to it.
Just to add, value paid or payable, this is the wording used in the valuation section. So even if it is not paid, but what was payable and how to arrive at, valuation rules are supporting that. You go to the valuation rule 27, you will come to know when the paid value is not available, what was payable you can arrive at.
Okay. The next question is,
But this also you can consider later on. Suppose I am in a business of say textile trade. In textile trade I give free samples. And on free samples it is clarified that there will be no tax when it is given in the business. Like that now also it is very well that if it is free samples given in the course of business, voucher is okay. So whether this also can be considered, because I am organizing a conference for
as a
chartered
suggestion,
accountant.
as a suggestion, can
As a suggestion, yes.
Otherwise, the GST regime looks at no freebies, no complimentary. Even your bed and breakfast, you should put a money value to the breakfast.
That is okay. That is okay. That is okay. But for organizing a conference for chartered accountant, I go to his hotel and then I stay there for one night to observe everything. They are not charging for me. Whenever I am holding the conference, they will be charging me the full money. So whether these kind of situation can be considered, that you can consider later on in your.
What if you were to consider this complimentary room as a gift up to a value of 50,000 rupees? Then is it okay? Then we don't have to charge GST?
Whatever we are saying, it has to be properly reflected in books of accounts. But again, I invite attention to the valuation rules 27, value of the supply of the goods or service where the consideration is not wholly in money.
So there is really no way out then. Okay. What is the implication of advance collected for a future date for a hotel booking beyond the current month? Whether we should charge GST?
Yes, yes. On advances, I think Goel Saab and Kangalwala, both of them have been, they have explained it very nicely.
Sure.
On advances, and what is the legal mooring for that? If you go to the time of supply of a service, you come to know that there are 3 options given, and whichever is the earliest has to be taken as a time of supply of the service at which your liability arises. So, invoicing, receipt of payment, or actual delivery of the service. These are the 3 criteria laid down in the time of supply of service. So they have, both of them have nicely explained that whenever there are advances, this is the earliest event happening, that is receipt of payment. Accordingly, tax liability will accrue for that particular month. It will arise for that month.
Of course, it's just
That is for the 18%, which we have charged CGST and HGST, and the client want to adjust that against the rooms, and he doesn't want a refund check.
So you want to change the description of the service there from one to
But
another.
already
Advance is already taken.
Advance we already paid CGST and HGST at 99%, which is the 18% for the banquets.
See, what is the substantive part of the GST law? That kind of service rendered, that will be the delivery of the supply of a service. That is a substantive part. So it can be changed at a later date. For example, instead of X, you give Y service. But it should be supported by proper accounting entries. That is one. And whenever there is an advance, whether it's advance for X or Y, liability arises. Now, there can be a problem. Suppose you want to shift from X to Y, where X rate is different, Y rate is different, there will be some adjustments.
So there's a provision for refund voucher.
Ma'am says there's a provision for refund also.
I will request my chartered accountant friend because I will read out
No,
this
no,
provision.
no, no. Suppose advance paid to you. Now there can be 3 situations for advances. One is that person who paid the advance, later on he availed the services. At the time when you are billing for the services, you will charge on the full amount, and on advances you will claim credit in your return, because in the return there is a separate column for that, the amount paid on advances at earlier stage. So that credit you can claim. Second situation may be the advance paid, event is cancelled, and advance returned. Then that is refund voucher you have to issue. Once you issue refund voucher, you can again claim credit thereof. So there is nothing going from your hand. Only thing that you have paid earlier month, you are claiming credit in the next month. Third situation may be that advance is paid, event is cancelled, and you have not refunded the advance. That is the situation which they wanted to cover. That's why this advance provision has come.
No, there's another situation we have been very fond of. Interest on advances. Because it was delayed the payment and we always thought you kept this money in the bank and you became the richer for it. So there was this huge issue on interest on advances. So that also has been plugged.
31E3, that is the provision applicable there.
Okay, it's of course the industry's request is that this advance should not be included in GST, and that we should be given the choice of paying only at the time of issue of the invoice. So this is just a suggestion that was given, and Madam has said that she might take it up with the council.
पर सर सर्विस टैक्स में भी था ना एडवांस पे भरने का था ना सर्विस
Yeah, I don't think this formulation will change. That I'll tell you because even Rashmi Verma ma'am said address the issues that you can address. Don't go beyond. But so I wouldn't put too much. I would go by complying and not putting too much hope on this being reversed. Yeah.
Will soft drinks and tobacco served in the restaurant be considered as a service?
Yes.
Yes. I think this has been answered already, but I'll still ask that. Minibar fridge in a room has pre-packaged items. Would it be considered as a service or over-counter sale? And will it be taxed as a restaurant service or retail sale?
How was it answered?
Retail sale.
It was considered as retail sale. Yeah. Any other?
What is your view?
Minibar.
Minibar, whatever what we are saying, that is the means packed items which are kept in the minibar, and if the person takes that, then only we have to charge. So that is to be charged on at the scheduled rate of that item, not as a restaurant sale.
Because
So here-
rate within the room.
Whatever. Of that good, that,
So that's goods.
that particular goods.
How are you going to account in the books of accounts?
Books of account, it will be the particular those items, sale of 5-star chocolate 2 pieces. Sale of 5-star chocolate 2 pieces.
That's what we do.
Will
That's
it-
how the hotels are typically doing today. In fact, we are recording this as a service, and we used to pay service tax on it. We never paid,
Central excise or VAT
VAT
on that.
on that,
See, that's the point when this is a situation where it's a part of service package, composite supply, where you are giving room on the rent and plus other facilities. I think
which are charged.
it has to be a part of composite supply. Earlier it was subjected to service tax. Why not to the VAT? Because it was never shown as a sale of a good.
So I think then that is for the hotel industry, that's a better proposition. Instead of going and worrying about the HSN codes of each of the items that we keep in the minibar, it is better that we, charge it as a service, as a restaurant sale or whatever, and then pay for that. So exactly, that's what we're doing historically. Okay. Not composite, as a separate item, also as restaurant sale, as an F&B sales. Right. So that's a good clarification. Thank you.
But there is an issue that he is asking about. Suppose cigarettes are sold. So will they suffer the same duty structure as a cigarette?
No,
Does-
that's the next question.
Okay.
That's nothing with the minibar.
the cess bit,
Then
yeah, not the
the next question is: will soft drinks and tobacco served in a restaurant be considered as a service?
So now it has already cleared the factory, right? It has paid all the taxes it needed to pay at the factory, and it has come to you with all the input credits that you needed, right? And cigarettes में राम जाने input credit का क्या situation है? बहुत it's a sin issue. So now
नहीं मिलेगा.
so now when you are going to sell it, this is coming time and again, even in the phone calls to me. The question that I also, as I structure the question, I say, what were you doing before? Can somebody clarify, how was it that you were paying tax on it before? As a service or as goods? No, on service.
What is the question? That it is served in the restaurant. That tobacco or this cold drink served in the restaurant. So there was no question of paying service tax on that. You must be paying VAT on that.
No.
Oh, ठीक है. That on 30% you are paying. So it was liable for VAT. Now again, when you are selling this tobacco part, little different. Tobacco you keep aside. But cold drinks which you are serving within the restaurant, it will be liable for that restaurant sale rate only. Whatever it may be, but except liquor, whatever you are serving in the restaurant, that is chargeable at the rate of 12% or 18%, that is the rate applicable to the restaurant. Tobacco and liquor, two different things. Liquor, of course, that VAT is applicable. Tobacco, whatever Saab say, that will be fine.
So let us read the entry. Let us get it clarified for once and all. See, 9963 entry at a serial number 7 of the notification 11/2017 issued on 20th June. Now here, I'll just read one entry for the restaurant. Supply by way of or as a part of any service or in any other manner whatsoever of goods, being food or any other article for human consumption or any drink, where such a supply or service is for cash, deferred payment or other valuable considerations, etc., then the restaurant rate will be 9%. entry number 3. There are some other restaurant entries where 6%. 9 plus 9,
9
18.
plus 9.
Now, whatever you serve there with the cigarette, food or drink, goods, everything is mentioned here. Service, goods, whatever is delivered to you in the course of supply of restaurant service will be subjected to 9 plus 9, 18% rate. We should not think of them as a sale of good independently. It's simple.